Hey, welcome. Hello, and welcome to Bold Women Lawyers Spotlight. I'm �00𝗲𝗀𝗃, the founder and CEO of Bold Women Lawyers, and it's a business where I provide business coaching to women lawyers in solo and small law firms. I am a lawyer. I was a partner in a small law firm for about 15 years, and then I had my own solo practice in disability law for 16 years, and now I'm a business coach helping women lawyers avoid all of those mistakes that I made along the way so that your path to a successful law practice is a lot easier than mine was. So today we want to talk about what happens when your calendar's empty. And believe me, I know that feeling, that terrible feeling of looking at your calendar and it's empty, or it's almost empty, or it might not be empty, but you realize that the appointments that you have are with people who have bad cases that are not good for your business. It's a terrible feeling, and I know it because I experienced it. And because of that, now your cash flow is down to a trickle or worse. You can feel that panic. It rises up in your chest. You feel it in the back of your throat. You feel helpless. You feel defeated. You're ready to quit. You want to throw in the towel. I've had enough of this. I'm going to go work for someone else. And I understand, but I'm going to tell you that there is a way out of it. You don't have to be stuck in that position. So there's a couple of things you can do, and we'll talk about those. Now, the first is don't panic. Take a deep breath. Try to relax. It's not easy, I know, but don't panic. And why do I say that? Well, because we make the worst decisions we can make when we do it out of panic or out of fear. Typically, and I've talked to a lot of lawyers who have done this, lawyers just start throwing money at the problem. So you're going to hire that company that's been sending you endless emails about all the great leads they have for you, right? And so you're just going to hire them. They're going to get you these vetted leads, these great cases, and you just start throwing a lot of money at it because those services are expensive. And then you're really, really disappointed because these are not turning out to be great cases, or even in many instances, they're not even vetted leads. Or you're going to hire a company and just start throwing money at them to put up ads for you, to put up ads, on social media. And again, then you're disappointed because you're not getting the return on your investment that you expected. You're not getting a full calendar of great cases. So what's your other alternative? This is the other thing that, we lawyers do. I know because I did it. You just complain to anybody who's willing to listen about how hard it is to be a lawyer and how hard it is to run the law firm and how hard it is to get clients, and oh, woe is me. Now, and obviously that's not going to solve this problem for you either. So let's talk about some things that you can do. First, once you've controlled the panic, you really need to take a long, hard look at what you're doing and decide, if you haven't already done this, what is your niche? There are a certain number of lawyers that I talk to that are kind of all over the board. Well, I'm doing family law, but I'll do some accident cases. And, somebody called me the other day about bankruptcy, so I'm going to go figure that out. And then I got a call about writing a will. And, all of a sudden they're telling me about 4, 5, 6 different areas of practice that they're trying to do, or they think they might want to do. You're spreading yourself too thin, and you're putting yourself at risk, honestly, because it's not easy to keep up with one area of practice, right? And to do it competently and well, much less 4 or 5. You need to first decide, what is my niche? What is it going to be? What's the area that I'm going to focus on? There may come a time down the road where you want to expand to a complementary area. Perhaps you'll want to bring in an associate who can do work in a complementary area. That's all great. But for right now, if you've got an empty calendar or a calendar full of bad clients, you need to get focused on what's that area that I'm going to put all my effort into. Okay. So, let's say it's going to be trust and estates. That's great. But then you need to decide within that niche, who am I actually going to serve? Now, trust and estates, I think, is a great example. I've talked to a trust and estates lawyer, and I remember one in particular who needed some help. So we talked about it, and I said, well, who is it that you want to serve in the trust and estates area? And his response was, hey, I want to serve anybody over the age of 18 who needs a will. Okay, well, are you qualified to do that? If you know the trust and estates area, sure, you'd be qualified to handle a matter for anybody over the age of 18 who needed a will. But is that going to be an efficient way to run your business and to run a successful law business? No, the answer is no, because in order to get clients, of course, you have to market to clients. You have to market to referral sources. And you have to have a message that you're sending to clients, potential clients, and referral sources about the work that you do and how it can help them solve their problem. So the problem for a 30-something, say, couple with a young child or a newborn, and what they might need in the way of estates and trusts, is very different from a couple in their 60s whose children are grown and married, and now they have grandchildren, and they're looking at their retirement and what's going to happen beyond that, and what do they want to do in terms of their trust, any trust that they might need, or their will and their estate plan. So the message that you would be sending to those two groups of people is very, very different. Now, I always get a lot of pushback from clients, coaching clients, when we talk about finding a niche. And the pushback is this, but what I don't want to have to turn away people that I could otherwise serve. Well, I agree with that. The point of choosing a niche and being very specific within it about who you serve is not that you would turn away business that is otherwise good business for you. It's how you're going to shape your marketing message. So if you are the trust and estates lawyer and you decide that you really want to focus on empty nesters, okay, whose children are grown and gone and now having their own families, but you get a call from a 30-year-old who has a newborn and needs some help with his or her will, do you turn that work away? No. If it otherwise meets your criteria, of course not. But my point is, who are you going to focus your marketing message on? Okay. And who that person is what we call your ideal client. Your ideal client is the person who you would clone if you could. You love working with that person. You really enjoy the work that you do with them, and you would clone them if you could. You need to know that person in depth. And this is true whether you're serving consumers or you serve businesses in your law practice. Because remember, if you're a B2B business, business to business law practice, there's a person who's making the decision about hiring the lawyer. There's a person who's going to decide which lawyer to hire, right? So you need to know everything you can about the person that is in that position. So you want to know basic demographics of your ideal client. Now, age, gender, education, occupation, marital status, etc., all the basics. But you want to go much, much deeper than that. How do they spend their spare time? What social media do they consume? And what do they use it for? How do they get educated? If they're professionals, do they belong to any professional groups? Are they in any special interest groups? Do they serve on any nonprofit boards, etc.? You need to get as far in depth as you can to who your ideal client really is and what their life is like. Now, why is this so important? You have to remember that getting great clients is about marketing, whether it's marketing directly to potential clients or to referral sources. It is about great marketing. And the information that you develop about your ideal client is the basis for your marketing message. It tells you who you're talking to, what their problems are, how you're going to talk to them, where you're going to be putting the message to them, all of the information you need to know to have effective marketing that drives great clients to your law firm. So you start with this ideal client. And once you get a really good understanding of him or her, everything else is going to flow from there. And the next thing is, what is your message to this person? And where will you be putting this message? Where can you find this person? Online and offline. Now, those are some of the next steps. But today I'm just focused on this idea of your ideal client because it is so important. And it is the basis of everything else that you're going to be doing in terms of your marketing. It's also something that, understand, this changes over time. Okay, so you start, you get as in-depth as you can with your ideal client and a description of him or her. But at least once a year, you want to revise that and revisit it because you will learn things over time about this ideal client, and things, may change. And you want to make sure that who you are looking to attract, the description of them still meets over time the person that you want to attract, because that does change. So that's your beginning. Now, there's more to it than that, but that's where you want to start.